Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. We will begin in 2 minutes. Hello, and thank you for attending and joining today's webinar presentation on SAMHSA's 2018 Campus Suicide Prevention Grant. Just a little webinar ground rules. This presentation will be recorded. A copy of the recording will be sent after the presentation. Attendees are in listen-only mode, but if you do have a question while we're going through this presentation, look to the right-hand side and you can input a question and we'll answer it as they come in. Feel free to connect with us online, Twitter. Our handle is @Kognito and our hashtag is Kognito Webinars. Before I get started, I want to introduce myself. My name is Brian Nito. I'm the Director of Client Experience here. So a quick agenda and look at what we will cover today. We'll first unpack what is GLS. We'll highlight an overview of the Kognito platform that addresses suicide prevention in schools. We'll also take a look at how Kognito supports the required and suggested grant activities. We'll take a look at one of the simulations and preview it in a demonstration form. And then we'll highlight some of the benefits of using Kognito with GLS. And time permitting, we'll do a question and answer portion. So what is the GLS grant? Well, GLS stands for Garrett Lee Smith, and it is a memorial fund to public and private college universities to encourage them to develop a holistic approach to support college students as they address suicide, serious mental illness, and/or substance use. Additionally, it helps prevent and promote help-seeking behaviors and reduce the stigma associated with these mental and substance use disorders. Lastly, it improves the identification and treatment of at-risk college students so they successfully complete their academic tenure. Here is some helpful award information to be mindful of. The deadline submission is Tuesday, February 20th. The total funding available is in excess of $1.8 million, and the anticipated number of award grantees is 18. The anticipated award amount is about $102,000 annually for 3 years. And lastly, cost sharing match is required. So a little bit about my team and Kognito. We are a role-play simulation company that empowers and enables higher ed institutions like yourselves build the capacity and ability of its faculty, staff, and students to lead real-life conversations. Since 2010, Kognito has provided support of 50% of all GLS grantees. We are currently supporting 350 institutions, and they have been used by over 500,000 faculty, staff, and students worldwide. Our diverse portfolio of simulations aim to address a number of desired goals, from student mental health, retention, and also academic performance. Quick important facts to highlight about Kognito. Kognito is the only company with health simulations in SAMHSA's National Registry of Evidence-Based Program and Practices, or NREP. All 6 of our higher education programs are listed in SPRC Best Practices Registry, that is the Suicide Prevention Resource Center, and currently the student version of At Risk is listed, while the faculty version is accepted for review. As part of being a client on this journey here at Kognito, each individual institution will have access to an online portal 24/7 for an on-demand usage report of each of the simulations that you license. As a SAMHSA GLS recipient, we will also provide an automatically generated SAMHSA-specific report that contains grant evaluator requirements on a quarterly basis. Lastly, we do have the ability to customize demographic data collection before accessing the course, which is a great benefit for your individual and evaluator research. Within the Kognito user experience, there are built-in assessment surveys through pre, post, and follow-up user surveys. These questions address changes in behavior ranging from early intervention skills, attitude, motivation. Clients have the ability to also customize these questions to fit their own research needs and interests. An example of this is former GLS grantees using the data collected to submit manuscripts for publication. Also, a team member on my client experience team is designated and will assist you with implementation support. And a dedicated account manager will be assigned to help develop and implement a specific rollout strategy to promote simulations to your end users. Our team has also created promotional materials to aid in implementation efforts, including turnkey flyers, PowerPoints, discussion guides, all to ensure that your institutions are successful in reaching a broader and larger reach. Lastly, the account manager will ensure and help drive utilization over time so that the Kognito programs are implemented with fidelity. So here are some flexible delivery methods that we go about pushing this to your end users. These are standalone online offerings. They can be integrated with in-person training and have a Kognito facilitator discussion guide. So a easy way to deploy this is taking the simulation itself and then have a whole group discussion with your students and or faculty. It serves also as an alternative to those who are unable to attend an in-person training, and our simulations are compatible with 503 and 508 requirements for users with disabilities. Lastly, simulations integrates really nicely into curriculum for students, specifically Psych 101 classes and health courses. So a little bit about the at-risk for student simulation before I show a little demonstration. Note we do have a faculty version as well. So each of our simulations have a student version and also a faculty version. This one for students is a 30-minute evidence-based simulation directly targeting students and student leaders. A student user will assume the role of Jesse, the character on the left, as they engage in a series of interactive scenarios to learn about potential warning signs, available support services, and how to talk to a friend showing signs of psychological distress. Ultimately, users will learn how to engage in a hands-on and realistic conversation with a virtual student that they can apply in real life with a student exhibiting similar signs of psychological distress. So we're going to explore the simulation for at-risk, starting with the introduction.
Travis has been posting sad things online, and his friends have done the right thing by reaching out to him whenever he did to ask if he was okay or wanted to talk. So far, he hasn't really opened up to anybody. And today, Jesse is going over to his place to see him. You'll play Jesse, and your goal is to let Travis know you're concerned and find out how he's doing. Conversations like this are best face-to-face, but any conversation is better than none at all. However you have a conversation like this, it should be private. So let's head over to Travis's apartment to talk.
Great. I should have given the warning that there might be a slight delay as we're projecting directly from our technology, but that's why we provided the closed captioning that is available within all of our simulations. So we're going to explore the conversation with Jesse. So there are a couple of ways to go about this, and there are different talk tracks. And as you see, the choices that you select will impact the response from the virtual human, and they'll have a visceral reaction both in the way that he delivers his message and his nonverbal body movement. So notice that.
When did you stop enjoying painting?
I don't know. I haven't painted anything I can even stand to look at in months.
Honestly, I think you're just having a tough time getting over your ex. Give it some time and you'll feel better. Don't let it change your life.
Jess, please, it's not about her. You're talking about something you don't know anything about.
Great. So as you can see, the virtual coach pops up and produces a message that says, Travis seems to be going through something difficult and life-changing. Minimizing it in this way makes him feel like you don't get what he's going through. And it requires you to undo that step and go back and choose another selection.
You know, I hate to bring this up,
But you will anyway.
yeah, I will anyway. I was just going to say, it seems like everything kind of changed after you and Tia broke up.
Look, this isn't about her. Trust me.
Maybe not. It's just what I noticed.
Well, yes, it was a rough time, but I would have made this decision anyway, eventually.
Great. So as you can see, there was not a pop-up, but on the bottom of the page, the virtual coach solidifies your selection. This is a good example of an I statement. This makes the statement less threatening than if you just said something changed after the breakup. We're going to do one more example.
Well, look, Trav, I mean it when I say I'm worried. I didn't want to say anything before because I thought maybe you were just doing your own thing and all, but I don't know. We really haven't hung out since October, and you seem to be drinking more. You put on weight. You say you failed some of your classes last semester, and now you're giving up painting? I mean, what am I supposed to think about all this? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about all that.
And that's how we portray the interactive conversations where users will be able to experiment and choose different selections as they're going through the interactive simulation. Now, on the screen, you'll see another version of one of our simulations directed towards addressing the population of those that are identify as LGBTQ and how to support them and their journey and their stresses that they encounter while being on campus.
Hi, I'm Callie. This is Matt.
Hey,
And I'm Jay. We're all from different places and different cultures, but something that we have in common is that we all identify as LGBTQ. We want to share our experiences with you today because feeling accepted and safe at school is really important, and faculty and staff have the power to set that positive tone on campus.
First, let's define that acronym, LGBTQ.
So that was just a taste of some of the other offerings besides at-risk for students. We have the LGBTQ curriculum. We also have the veterans on campus as well. In total, the full suite is 6 simulations. Again, each of them have a student version and a faculty staff version. So I wanted to take the time on the overview of the GLS grant requirements. On the screen right now are the required points. The first 2, Kognito fully supports, train college students, faculty, and staff to respond effectively to college students with mental and substance use disorders, and provide outreach services to inform and notify college students about available mental and substance use disorder services. Kognito Suite does offer training programs specifically addressing these topics, and we incorporate the customization of an embedded local resources page with relevant support service information specific to your institution. The next 2 bullets, Kognito partially supports, administer voluntary mental and substance use disorder screenings and assessment, and creating a network infrastructure to link the institutions of higher ed with appropriately trained behavioral health care providers who treat mental and substance use disorders, including a plan to seek input from relevant stakeholders in the community and other appropriate public and private entities to carry out the program. Now, Kognito programs help equip practitioners with SUDs and mental health screening. Additionally, as mentioned previously, we integrate a local resource page in each simulation that is institution-specific with on and off-campus support services. The next activity is to educate and disseminate information materials to college students, families, faculty, and staff to increase awareness of mental and substance use disorders. Part of the implementation support materials we provide are exactly that. Flyers, posters, postcards that clients are encouraged to use to communicate this information. We also encourage that simulations are made available to even families of students. Number 2, conduct research through a counseling or health center at the institution of higher education to improve the behavioral health of college students through clinical services, outreach prevention, or academic success in a manner that is compliant with all applicable personnel privacy laws. Kognito administers the pre, post, and follow-up anonymous assessments of users, which are customizable by your campus research teams. Lastly, develop and support evidence-based and emerging best practices, including a focus on culturally and linguistically appropriate best practices. Now, how do we support this requirement? Kognito's at-risk have been approved for NREP listing. Additionally, we incorporate cultural competencies trainings into the one I just previewed, LGBTQ, and our veterans simulation. The last set of activity requirements we partially or fully comply with as well. Operates hotlines and or promote linkage to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The simulation, each simulation prominently features this information about the Lifeline as the user progresses through. Provide mental and substance use disorder prevention and treatment services to college students by employing appropriately trained staff. Service might include recovery support and early intervention programs, treatment, and management. Kognito offerings do help equip practitioners with the skills for SUDs and mental health screenings. And lastly, support college student groups on campus, including athletic teams that engage in activities to educate college students, including activities to reduce negative attitudes about mental and behavioral health disorders and to promote mental health. So all of our student simulations are geared towards students reducing stigma around mental health and psychological distress, and helps them identify peers and refer them to the support services. Further, the data indicates that student athletes are referred almost twice as frequently to support services. So to recap some of the benefits highlighting Kognito with GLS, we have been in existence prior to 2010, but since 2010, Kognito has provided support to over 50% of GLS grantees. There is fixed pricing for 3 years, and if you decide to continue on with Kognito, there is a 4th-year discount at 25%. This is evidence-based. We are the only company with health simulations listed in NREB. And there's the time-saving component where we provide you the set SAMHSA evaluator reporting as part of the package. Now I'm going to pause a moment to see if we have any questions on the line. Great, I'm seeing a lot of questions on pricing. Pricing is set by your tiering model based on your total size of your school. The information on the screen is where you direct pricing inquiries. So if you have a question specifically, one of our sales professionals will assist you. So please email them at educationsegment@kognito.com. Great, and I think I've covered a lot in this session. Thank you all for joining today. If you have any questions, the contact number and email is on your screen. Thanks, and have a great afternoon.